nostalgic fans. Nostalgic Grow back with you for another finds video. Like I said in the last video, things are kind of slowing down here a little bit, but there's still a good opportunity to find some good things. So I'm going to show off a lot of video games like I typically do, and then also have some other things I wanted to show you that I've come across here recently. So garage sale season winding down still, but I was able to find a few things here. One was a pseudo Craigslist garage sale hit up. Basically, I saw an ad that said, hey, we have a bunch of video game systems we want to get rid of. So I made sure to get there right away. And when I got there, they didn't even have the systems out yet. So I had to kind of ask around a little bit. And then here it was the kids were trying to raise some money to go to an amusement park around here. And so I felt obligated to kind of pay a little bit more. But 3 solid systems here for pretty much $10 a pop. Up first, the Sega Genesis here, and this one does not have the high definition across the top, so a little bit of a rarity, I guess you could say, depending on which one you look at it, but they're both like the same price. But yeah, now I have one that has HD, one that says that does not. So got the original Genesis there, got a Nintendo system, so again, $10 a pop for these isn't too bad, and then a PlayStation 2. And they all came with at least one controller and your setup, so they could be up and running. And then after when I bought them from them, she made the comment that apparently it's an ex-husband. So there might be an ex-husband there looking for their system, but I guess they've been divorced for a while. So anyway, thought that was kind of funny that she added in there. And then there's a couple games that came with that as well. So for the Sega Triple Play 96, NBA Live 97, complete in box, and then NBA Live 96 complete in box for the Sega Genesis. And then for the Nintendo, which made it really a steal then for $30 total, is I got Punch-Out!, Super Mario 3, and then the icing on the cake, Bill Elliott's NASCAR. So 3 good games there for the NES. Well, actually 2 good games for the NES, and then the NASCAR, I have no idea. Maybe it's a good NASCAR simulator for its time, no idea. But anyway, so yeah, so a pretty good deal there for everything that I got, and we'll be looking to flip a few of those items. Up next then, another garage sale find was a PS1. These are a little bit harder to find than your original PlayStations. So excited to find this. I believe I paid about $20 total with the games, which is a little bit more than I wanted, but I tried negotiating with the lady and she wasn't having it, and I really wanted one of these systems. So I decided that was okay, and then the games that came with was Spec Ops, which actually has not been opened before. It still has most of the wrapping on it anyway, so brand new game, not that it's really worth much. Soviet Strike, NHL Breakaway 98, Spec Ops Ranger Elite, The X-Files, and then the original Medal of Honor. I was going to say Modern Warfare. No, Medal of Honor, the original, which I remember playing when I was a kid, and I remember my mind wasn't totally wrapped around first-person shooters yet at the time, so I was playing it for a while, and I got a little stuck, and just the mechanics of it, I was kind of confused. I was more of a third-person shooter at the time, playing a lot of Siphon Filter, and switching over to first-person was just I wasn't quite ready for it. So anyway, then I stopped at a game store and picked up a couple of games. It was kind of a buy 2 get 1 free type deal. So I picked up Micro Machines, gold cart there, kind of hard one to find, so glad to add that to my collection. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, Heroes of the Lance, another kind of harder one to find. And then here's one that's kind of hard to find that's worth a little bit as well, and it is called Kickle Cubicle. And I also got the manual for it as well. So yeah, so decent games there that I was able to pick up from the game store at a decent price. I think it was basically $30 for all 3 games, so not too bad. And then I was getting ready to go on a trip to visit my brother, and there was a flea market nearby my house I've been meaning to hit up for a really long time. So I decided to hit it up that weekend, and it was really bad. There wasn't a whole lot there, but they said it was because some other events going on. That's what kind of took away from it. Usually it's a lot bigger. But there's one guy that had some PlayStation games, so I think it was basically $2 a piece for these. There's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses limited edition game that had cards in it. I don't believe I got the cards in here. Those were missing. But yeah, so it's not technically a complete game, but it is worth, I believe this one goes for more closer to 20, so not too bad. And then one game that I've been meaning to play for the longest time, Destroy All Humans. And then a game that I love on, actually the only time I've played it is on the Nintendo Wii, and I think, I mean, just playing it on that, I was blown away. And I don't know if I want to play it on any other system just because I love the controls. I think if there's one game to play on the Wii that defines what the Wii could have been, it would have been Resident Evil 4, but I got the PS2 version of it. So yeah, but I love the Wii version, so I'm excited to try this game out because I haven't tried it out in any other system. So we'll see how that goes. And then on that trip that I took then to visit my brother, he has some 64 games. He's not a collector, but he does like older games. And there's a game that I picked up for him way back in the day before the game was even really worth anything, and he didn't really care for it. And now that he has kids and stuff, he was okay with trying to get rid of it. But he didn't really know that it shot up in price quite a bit. So I gave him some older NES games, just a couple of them for this one. And then afterwards I told him like, well, yeah, it is worth a lot more. But he didn't really care because he was just like, well, whatever. He knows I'm a collector and I like this stuff. So with the games that I gave him, he's going to get a lot more time out of it. But that is, it's also kind of a holy grailish, you could say, for the 64. But Conker's bad for a day. So excited to get this one in my grips because I've been trying to get it off of him for a while, and I'm glad that he finally caved. Like I said, he didn't realize how much it had shot up in price here. But like I said, I mean, when trading games with people, most people, they'd rather trade to get games that they either want or like they cherished as a kid, and the price doesn't really add up for them. They're not looking for a price value, and that's kind of what he was doing. Was he knew, obviously, since I really wanted this game, it had to be worth something. But we didn't talk about pricing on stuff until after the fact, and then he was just like, oh, okay, good to know that's worth a lot, but yeah, go ahead and have it. So glad to have that, and thank you, brother, for giving me the hookup there. And then I met a fellow trader as well, been friends with for a while, and he's a guy that he has amazing luck. He has come across Earthbound for the Super Nintendo twice, and both times, the first time he got the complete big box for like $5. At the same place, he got Little Samson for $5. Just he has great luck at garage sales finding complete in-box games. I mean, if I showed you some of his games that he's found that he's only paid $5 for at garage sales, you'd be blown away. He just has really good luck. And the second time he found just the game cartridge, but it was at a Goodwill, and he ended up having to pay more because a guy had it in his hands and he kind of knew the game was worth something, but not how much. So he bought it from him before then buying it from Goodwill. But yeah, this guy just has really good luck. So kind of the same deal, except he knew the pricing of games, and I brought down my extras that I had, and I didn't have anything that was worth a ton, but he was just like, yeah, you know what, I need these games, so here, you give me, I gave him something like 6-7 games that totally did not add up to what he gave me in return. But he's kind of like how I am, and he'd rather get some games, and keep people happy and to make good deals than anything else. So anyway, so up first it was Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. Now I actually had this game, but I had a really beat up copy. There's no sticker, like it was just on a marker written in there, and the bolts in the back, it was clearly someone had ripped it apart, put it back together with their own bolts. So yep, now I got a nice copy of that. And then Paper Mario, which was funny because when I went to test the game, there's a save file on there that looked like it was totally completed or whatever. I fired up the game and I could barely even play. Like it just kept freezing, and I was like, what the heck, what is going on here? Well, here apparently this guy, there's some glitch in the game or something, or maybe it was done on purpose, I can't remember what, but basically if you do like a certain set of series of events, And when you get to a certain point, the game just like glitches out and you can't play. And so that's what this person had done. So at first I was going to call him up and be like, wait a minute, you gave me a bad copy. And this was his only copy, or his only extra copy anyway. But, you know, luckily I discovered that, and it's all good now. And then one game that I really like this series. This is what kind of turned me on to RPGs, because before I was not a fan of them, and then I played this series and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. If RPGs were all like this, I would play them all the time. And that is Star Wars Knights of the Republic for the Xbox, but this is Knights 2. Now, I loved this game up until the very end, and obviously this game kind of got rushed out before it was ready because of the popularity of the first one. The first one I loved. I often don't replay games, but that was a game I played it through one time, spent 40 hours or whatever playing. I believe I went with the light side on that, and then I immediately turned around and played it another 40 hours dark side, just because I loved the game so much. So I was really excited about this game, and my Xbox at the time had a weird issue with it where even on clean games, it would read them, but then it would struggle, and like I would have to play. It would take like 20 minutes to get the game to work, and then sometimes it would glitch once in a while. So it was one of those things where maybe I could play 4 hours, no problem. And then other times, every 10-15 minutes, I was restarting the system. So this was a game that I struggled through with that, just fighting my Xbox. And then to get to the end, and the ending is just so disappointing. I mean, to compare it to something more mainstream recently, if you haven't played it, it would be like playing Mass Effect 3 and the ending there, because you're playing it and you're enjoying it and everything's great up until that point, and then you get to the ending and you're like, what just happened? Really, that's how you end the game? That's what's going on? And like, that's how this one was, and I was so mad about it I didn't go back and play it again. But I'm glad that I have this one, and I'm hoping I can get my hands on the first one too here soon, because that is definitely a series I would love to go back to and explore again. Like I said, that turned me on to RPGs, and why I like Mass Effect now and stuff like that, because I hate the turn-based style fighting mechanics of RPGs. That's why I didn't like them, because I didn't like having to sit there and wait. And even though this one, it was similar, like, it still made me feel like I was doing the button mashing to fight the guys. So it's just like the difference of how it was laid out. The game didn't like freeze for a minute and blah blah blah. Like, this had it like very interactive. So that's why I like it. And then obviously Mass Effect is run and gun and stuff like that, but it's still RPG-ish. So anyway, and then the other thing I wanted to show you guys is since I'm a nostalgic row, I like to collect nostalgic things. So from time to time, I will find different things that I like to show you guys. So this time what I want to show you guys is a bunch of records I picked up. Now, these aren't records that are in great shape or they're necessarily worth a ton of money, but it was an interesting story behind them, and that was stopped in at a garage sale, and this guy had 2 boxes of records, and he had them listed, I think it was like 50 cents a pop, and I'm flipping through these boxes, and I'm just seeing a lot of great titles, a lot of great bands, and so I was like, well, how much would you take for both boxes if I just take them off your hands? And granted, there's a lot. I mean, this is probably about 100 records, and I ended up negotiating $20, I believe is what it was, something like that. It wasn't anything crazy, but yeah, he was just like, well, I have had people picking through them a little bit, so I was like, okay, well, you know, let's get down to the nitty gritty. So anyway, I wanted to show you guys some of these records that I got, because it excites me anyway. I know these aren't worth a ton, but I like to show off the records. So anyway, up first is Rolling Stones Through the Past Darkly, Big Hits Volume 2. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. This is Stranger in Town. And one I will say, as going through here, like Bob Seger, name that I knew. Now that I've got a few of his records, like, this is why I like collecting records, because I listen to a lot more music now by collecting records. Like, if I, like, on my Spotify list, I don't listen to a ton of bands that I don't know. Bob Seger's one that I knew by name, but I didn't really know him. I love Seger now, just off the records. School's Out by Alice Cooper. Cool title here. This is actually the one record that I saw that I was like, oh, I need to get going. I need to talk to this guy and see if I can't get everything here. So yeah, and this one's in pretty rough shape, but record's still clean. Let's see here. We have Bad Company, Straight Shooter. One More from the Road, Leonard Skinnard. Steve Miller Band, A Book of Dreams. We have a Rush album here. Let's see here. Permanent Waves. I was going to say, I couldn't quite read it there. So Rush, Permanent Waves. Got Boston. One that I know my dad would be excited to have. This has like More Than a Feeling. Some good albums, or good titles on this one. Let's see here. ZZ Top, Fandango. I'm a ZZ Top fan. I enjoy their stuff. So this is a good one here. Another one that I was excited to find, especially just because of the one song on here. So this is George Thorogood and the Destroyers. Bachman Turner Overdrive, Not Fragile. Another band that I enjoy more while listening on records. Another Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare. Nazareth, Hair of the Dog. Alice Cooper, Greatest Hits. Again, one that's not really worth anything, but you know what? Greatest Hits record. I'm loving it. All right, Foreigner, Double Vision. And this one still has the original wrapping on it, so this is in really good condition. You know, this is the one that has Hot Blooded and Double Vision, obviously by the title there. So solid record by them. The Who Are You? REO Speedwagon, you can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish. All right, and interesting. I mean, just the cover itself is interesting here. I like with the tuna and the tuning fork in there. So kind of just a fun album to look at there. Let's see here. I don't know if there's any like major songs on here, but yeah, either way, just for the cover itself is pretty cool. All right, we have Dire Straits. I'm a fan of them as well. Sultans of Swing is on this one, so good album. Bad Company, A Run with the Pack. And then finally another ZZ Top, A Trace Hombres. Okay, so anyway, there you go. There you have it there. So some more video games, a bunch of records. Let me know what you guys have been finding out there. I'd love to see what you guys collect, even outside of video games. You know, if there's any cool or interesting things out there. You know, I always come across this kind of random things that I'm always kind of keeping my eye out for. So yeah, we'll see what happens coming up here as things are slowing down more, but I'm having more time to look. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can find some more good things here in the coming months. But anyway, please check out my website, nostalgicrow.com. Click and like and subscribe. And yeah, until next time, thanks a lot, guys, and we'll see you later.